All right, now we're going to talk about the I/O. The I/O is the input-output interface. That is to say, how we patch out there physically. This is the same thing, but digitally. So we look here on the DSnake. It's an exact copy of the DSnake. Whatever faders I have, remember test was right there. I put it on 4. It shows it up right there. When we were out there, I believe we talked about how on the side we had mains, subs, monitor A, B, C, and D. You see that example right there. We don't have a DSnake expander. Here's the Surface / expander. Local expander, you can see it's wireless mics 1 through 8. COMX is also down there. Talk about that in just a second. But this is the back of the board. This is really useful because there are like 3 things you do in here, and one of them is patching outputs. Most of our plays and things like that are recorded with a camcorder that has an XLR in. So we can send an XLR out and send them a copy of the mains. This is not the easiest thing to do. We're going to do this from what's called a matrix. A matrix lets me mix sins into something, as opposed to an aux, like the monitors are. That only allow me to mix in inputs. A matrix allows me to mix in sins and outputs. So we're going to make a matrix. Go to Setup, Strip Assign, same place, Control Strip Assign. I'm going to come down here to Mix. I'm going to grab a matrix. We're going to use matrix 4 in this example. I'm just going to put it right here on this channel, over here on the left. It's purple. And we're going to name it Cam for the camcorder, or the camera. That way we can show this works. This was matrix 4. So we go back to the I/O. On the board back here on the bottom, we have XLR sins. You can see the example down here. So let's say we want it to come out of 23. So I go get an XLR, plug it into 23, plug it into the camera, and I want to put this camera matrix, okay? So we're going to come down here to the bottom, click right there, and we have a whole bunch of things we can send. And we're going to choose to send a mono matrix, because that's what we have set up. And we're going to send the 4th one, because remember it was mono matrix 4. So we're going to scroll on over to 4 and apply. And notice it now says cam there. So now what is in camera is going out the XLR and into the camera, because we put it in the I/O. Now we go back to the same logic we use for mixing. So we pull the fader itself up because we want to send it. But what do we want to send? Well, we send by mixing, and we're going to send the mains. So we hit mix, and we'll pull the mains to Unity. And now whatever is coming out of the mains is coming out of that XLR and going into the camera through that, how we set it up through the I/O.
And just out of curiosity, do you want to send the subs too, or only the mains?
Okay, so that brings us to a very good point. We have what are called aux-fed subs, which is why they're on an aux and why we can control them independently. And they work by sending an exact copy of the mains to the subs. They're just high-passed. So if you PFL the subs, you won't hear just lows. You hear everything. So it would just be sending a copy of the same thing. And
Understood.
We only need one copy.
Okay.
And that's how we send to here. We can also use that very same logic to send to USB. So USB 1, we can set up USB record, stereo matrix, same thing. Currently it's sending a copy of the left main for some reason. Coming out of that I/O out the bottom, we also have COMX. COMX is set up as mono matrix 1. It's almost always on the board. You shouldn't need to put it there, but if you do, it's mono matrix 1. It usually lives right about here. We're a very lucky theater in some aspects of this and in others not. We don't have booth monitors up in the light booth. We do backstage, but we don't have them up in the light booth. So we had to find a way to get sound up to the light booth and to some part backstage. And we just decided we're going to put a copy of the mains into the comms. So you put a comm set on, you pull up COMX, and now whatever is in the mains is in the comms. It's a beautiful thing. It's also the most requested thing of, can I get more COMX? Can I get more things in the mains? Now,
so as it's set up in like the blank V2 show, the COMX is already has a copy of the mains, and you just have to pull it up.
Yep. Now, it's currently a matrix. And what you could do, we were thinking about doing this, but we just ran out of time because we graduated. But if any of you guys decide, you're a power user or you want to try something different, you could set up COMX as an aux. Now that sounds crazy, because that means it's more work for you because you can't just send the mains. But what it means is you can give them exactly what they want in comps. If we have like a musical and we have an orchestra, the light booth does not care about the orchestra. They don't want to hear it. They just need to hear the actors. And with the Matrix, I can't give them just the actors. I can just give them the mains. But if it was to be an aux, I could mix in just the mics they wanted. It would be a bit more work because I'd have to go and mix all the mics in there, but then I could give them exactly what they wanted. And it's a bit more work, but I think it pays off in the end because then lighting isn't constantly going, can we have more comex, less comex, the orchestra's too loud, is there anything you can do? And that's really it. Thank you.